just bringing it back to big tech, what will be the implications for them? Will we see the end of their hegemony? That's what I want to know.
Well, as long as Biden's president, you won't pass any laws because he'll veto it. However, it'll be embarrassing for him to veto it. So if McConnell gets his act together, they can start passing laws that basically promote free speech and force the Democrat president to veto it. They can also hold hearings. They can do to the Democrats, because the Democrats have basically breached all these conventions with their sort of politicized show trial House impeachments, the two ridiculous impeachments. Well, they can they can go after Fauci. They can go after the former FBI and those 51 intelligence officers who signed that letter just before the last election saying the laptop was Russian. It had all the, they called it earmarks, but they're illiterate. They meant hallmarks of Russian disinformation. Well, no, it actually was true. And so I would call in all 51 of those CIA, FBI agents. Most of them are retired now. And so there's all sorts of things they can do in the House and the Senate with hearings. Basically now that the rules of the game are, we're just going to go after the opponents, which is the sort of way the Dems have played this game. The Republicans have to play the same way back. They cannot be weak about this.
No, they can't.
I mean, things will only get better if they're tough.
But James, the way you're describing it, you and I are unlikely to disagree on those developments. If the House, dominated by Republicans, went after all those security officers and Biden himself for an impeachment, but has American politics gone too far down that partisan road? Will the entrenched Democrats just respond in kind?
Well, in my view, the Democrats started it. And here's the typical line you hear from establishment Republicans: we have to be better than they are. That's a loser strategy in politics. Evolutionary psychology, evolution generally, game theory. The successful approach in life is to be nice until the people on the other side aren't nice, and then you reciprocate. Now, if you never reciprocate, you're just a mug. And so the Republicans have to reciprocate. They have to go after the Dems. And once they've done it, then they can say, okay, look, let's go back to having the nice conventions. I just think that's the way they're going to have to behave. I think there's I don't think it's worthwhile impeaching Biden. But there's a certain school of Republicans who think, given the two incredibly implausible impeachments against Trump, impeach the guy. The problem is you don't really want to take him out as president. I mean, he's so bad. What's the upside for you? So leave him in for 2 more years.
Yeah.
His approval rating is in the low 40s, high 30s.
Yeah, yeah.
In other words, below
that's when he's awake. I saw him fall asleep
when he's turning the right way, incoherent.
Yeah, yeah.
And here's another great one. So they've got the worst inflation in 40 years. Petrol or gas prices are through the roof. They've got 4 million people have come into the border, and they asked Biden, what his top priority was, and it's sort of to make life easier for people who want to transition, for the transgender movement.
Oh.
So your top priority is to allow 14-year-olds to, have their reproductive organs cut off. At least wait till they're 18. And how is that a top priority when the entire country is in, it's about the worst we've seen the U.S. since Jimmy Carter.